Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're talking about how you can play a song by Ed Bruce called The Last Cowboy Song. And it's going to start out with kind of an intro around a D major. And the way you play D major, first finger is going to go to the G string on the 2nd fret. Second finger is going to go to the high E on the 2nd fret. The third finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you kind of strum just the D, G, B, and E, kind of the skinny 4 strings, that'll get your clearest sound with that. And we really just kind of stay on the D until we kind of go into our first chorus. And with this particular song, actually, it's a waltz. And so I would work kind of a 3/4 thing. And actually, you kind of hear almost like 3 downs on each thing, on each chord. So you might want to try that. Actually, we'll talk about a couple different variations of this. So you can do with the 1, 2, 3, D, 1, 2, 3, D, 1, 2, 3, D, 1, 2, 3. Now, something about my favorite 3/4 pattern, though, is kind of a down, down, up, down, because you can feel the 3/4 a little bit better. So we tried that too. You'd have to do with the down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, up. And another variation that kind of happens through the song is where you do kind of a long down, up, down, down, up, down, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. And you can also think about that from a down, down, up perspective and kind of think down, up, 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 down, up. Now something else you may want to think about adding to that is kind of basses. And actually on the D chord, you have the D string for your bass. And then you can kind of add in the rest of the pattern. So you could even be thinking kind of a D bass, down, down, D bass, down, down, D bass, down, down, D bass, down, down through that part. Or you can turn that into kind of a bass, down, up idea. Bass, down, up, bass, down, up, down. Or you can try bass, up, down, bass, up, down, bass, up, down, bass, up, down. Or you can try bass, down, up, bass, down, up, down. Or a bass, up, bass, up, down, up. As long as we're in 3, we're good. And then from there, we'll be going into our chorus part. And our chorus starts on D major, D major, D major, D major, D major, D major. Then we go to a G major chord. And we play G major. First finger is going to go to the A string on the 2nd fret. Second finger on the low E string on the 3rd fret. The third finger on the high E string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord to sound really, really happy. And then from the G major, we're going to be going to an A major chord. And we play A major. First finger is going to go to the D string on the 2nd fret, second finger on the G string on the 2nd fret, and the third finger on the B string on the 2nd fret. So a big party on the 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that makes an A major chord and sounds really, really happy. And just as an aside, there are a couple other A major chords you want to kind of play around with. Actually, one of them is kind of a 7 chord or a dominant 7 chord. So you take the A major and kind of lift off your 2nd finger, which is always a dangerous finger to lift. That sounds an A7 chord. So you may want to play around with using the A7 for the A majors in the song. Another A that you can kind of hear in the recording actually is if you take the A major and take your pinky and kind of add it on the B string on the 3rd fret. That's what they call the A sus. So you may want to kind of play around with kind of the A7 or an A7 sus, or even taking the A7 and then making A7 sus. Actually, if you kind of we're digging on the A7 and go to the B string on the 3rd fret, you can kind of work around those chords too. And then from that A major, we're going to be going back to the D. So one way to kind of work that verse is just doing the downs like we were talking, or through the chorus is to do the downs. So if we tried it that way, we'd have to do with 1, 2, 3, D, 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 1, 2, 3, G, 1, 2, 3, G, 1, 2, 3, A, 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 1, 2, 3, D, 1, 2, 3, D, 1, 2, kind of a tag after that very first one. We kind of stay on 2 Ds before we kind of come back in on our verse form, which is slightly different. Now if we tried that some other ways, we could do down, down, up on it. So we'd have D with the down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, D down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, D down, down, up, down, D down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, B 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 down. Kind of digging on the basses though, you could kind of throw those in. On the D chord, you still got kind of your D bass, and then when you get to your G chord, you have the low E string for your bass. And on all those A majors and the A7 and the A7 sus and the A sus, you'd have the A for your bass note on those chords. So we tried it through with kind of our bass down, up, we'd have D with the bass down, D with the bass down, D with the B 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 bass down. hear this in the way that they play it through the tune, is they work kind of on an alternating bass idea, which is like a country waltz, where on the D chord you play the D for your first bass, but then you go to the A string for your next bass. And that's normally what a country bass player would be doing, and that the D is called the root and the A is called the fifth of the chord. And actually you could kind of figure it out. If D was number 1, D, E, F, G, A is number 5. So we could kind of, on the D chord, kind of alternate kind of a bass down up with kind of a D string and an A string and a bass. So we got D with the D bass, down, up, down, D with the A bass, down, up, down, D with the D bass, down, up, down, D with the A bass, down, up, down. And on the G chord, your low E string would be your root, and then your D string would be your fifth. So you got your low E bass, D bass, your low E bass, D bass. And then on the A chord, you have the A string for your root, and the low E string would be your fifth. So you can kind of alternate between those for your basses. So we're going to try our chorus that way. This could be kind of cool. So you'd have D with the root, fifth, D with the root, fifth, D with the root, fifth, G with the low E bass, fifth, A with an A bass, E bass, A with an A bass, E bass, A with an A bass, E bass, D with the D bass, A bass, D with the D bass, A bass. And then from there we'd be going into our verse form, which is slightly different. On our verse, we stay on the D major 7 times, and then we go to A major twice. And then we do A major 7 times, and then we go to D twice. So this is kind of interesting. If we were going to do just our down, down, up through it, we'd have D with a down, down, up, down, D down, down, up, down, D down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, D down, down, up, down, D down, down, up, down, D down, down, up, down, A 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 down. A little weird. Now with our basses, we could try with our bass idea too, and then we have D with the D bass, 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 D with an A bass, A bass, A bass, A bass, A bass, A, D with the D bass. And if we try our country waltz idea, then we have D with the root, fifth, D with the root, fifth, D with the root, fifth, D with the root, and then A with the root, fifth, A with an A 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 root, D with a D root, fifth. And then from there we'd be repeating our verse, so we kind of kept that going. We'd have D, 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 A, D. And then if we try that through our next chorus, we'd have D, D, we'd be going back into our verse part, so we kept that going. We got D, 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 G, A, D. And then from there we'd be going into kind of our chorus, which gets repeated a lot. So we tried that through our chorus again. We'd have D with the D bass, D bass, A bass, D with a D bass, A bass, G with a low E bass, D bass, A with an A bass, E bass, A with an A bass, E bass, A with an A bass, E bass, D with a D bass, A bass. And from there we'd be repeating that until we get to our outro part. On our outro, we just kind of vamp on the D major, just like the beginning. So you may want to kind of think about using that country waltz feel for that too. But that's the basics of how you can strum along with Last Cowboy Song by Ed Bruce. So good luck!